Guys, and welcome to Escape Watch Reviews. My name is Steve, and today we're going to be reviewing the Baltany Reference S4084. I received this watch for free. I don't have to send the watch back, but no matter how I get a watch in for review, you're always going to get my honest opinion every single time. And if by the end of this review you want to pick one of these up, I'll be leaving a link down in the video description. That is an affiliate link. If you use that link, you guys don't pay any extra. I'll just earn a little bit of commission on each sale, and that helps keep the channel running. So thank you guys for the continued support. The full retail price for this watch is $212 US. You can tack on an extra $17 US for the two-tone versions, and that price is before taxes, VAT, custom, etc. Baltany, they do participate in the sale, so if you're waiting for the 11/11 sale on this thing, you should be able to get a pretty good discount on it. The watch comes in 3 different colorways that you can see here. I know Gary at I Like Watches and Simon at Watch the Time, they have both reviewed the other 2 colorways, so give them a watch after finishing this review. The watch case is made of 316L stainless steel. It has a sapphire crystal with anti-reflective coating, screw-down crown, a screw-down caseback, 100 meters of claimed water resistance, and the watch is powered by the ever-reliable Seiko NH35 automatic movement. So there are plenty of Datejust homages out there. Pagani Design, San Martin, and everyone in between. But Baltany, they're one of the few that made a vintage Datejust homage. All the other ones are modern ones. They have the full loomed indices. And it just has a different kind of vibe to them, a little bit more bold. This one is nice and slim, and it just looks fantastic. I have to say I'm impressed once again with Baltany, and they seem to be getting better and better. So I say we get right into this full review, but before we do a quick wrist check. Wearing the new San Martin SN0144GX. Review for this one will be coming pretty soon. I believe they want me to release it for the 11/11 sale, so you're going to have to wait a little bit for it. Now let's get into dimensions. A case diameter of just under 36 millimeters, thickness of 11.5 millimeters. We've got 20 millimeter lug width, lug tip to lug tip of 43.2 millimeters. And sized up for my 7.5 inch wrist with 3 links removed. It weighs 119 grams. So the size on this is pretty much what you would expect for a 36 millimeter watch in this design. Under 44 lug to lug. It's a pretty flat case. I think the thickness is acceptable for the NH35. It's about as thin as you can get this thing. So I'm pretty satisfied with the size on this thing. I know 36 millimeters is usually quite small. For my wrist. I know not everyone's wrist is the same as mine, but for me, 36 millimeters is usually on the small side, but I think because of the design on this thing, it just works. So yeah, I do like the way that this thing wears, even though it wears pretty small. So yeah, overall pretty happy. You can see the bracelet drops straight down, has no issues, female end links too, so that's nice to see. It's super comfortable on wrist as well, so I'm going to go outside right now and throw it on my wrist for you. And here we are on my 7.5 inch wrist, and as you can see, it wears small, just like you would expect it to wear on a 7.5 inch wrist. But I think because of the design, because of the vintage nature of it, I think it works. It actually feels more like a vintage piece than a modern piece, and that's something that I actually really like about this one versus some of the other Datejust that I've reviewed on the channel. So I do like the way that this thing wears. It is short, it is flat, but it just wears good. Alright, let's go throw this on some straps. And here we are, some direct sunlight there. You can see the strong sunburst out. Sorry about the wind, hopefully that's not too bad. But yeah, looking really good on this vintage Vario strap. The big taper on it, it just looks awesome. I love the silver dial with it. Usually not a huge silver dial fan with this, it just kind of works for me. So really happy with the way this looks. And here we are on a FKM cut to size strap in brown. I think that actually looks pretty good. I'm not really sure why I like it so much, but the brown with the silver, I just think it looks good. What do you guys think? And here we are on a black vintage leather strap. This is one just off AliExpress. I'll leave a link down below for it. But yeah, I think that looks pretty good. Just look at that bezel though. And lastly, here we are on a Vario vintage leather. Again, this one in dark blue. I figured the dark blue and the silver would look pretty classy together, and they definitely do, in my opinion at least. What do you guys think of that? Alright, let's go back inside and let's get back to this review. All right, so the case finishing on this watch, it is fully polished. So we don't have any brushing going on except for on the bracelet. I think it looks fantastic though. It looks really, really good. Very high quality, as you can see here. Getting real close, talking about the lugs at the moment. Just really nice and smooth polishing. You can see it's a rounded case as well. Just look at the reflection of the crown in the case sides there. Obviously, got a little bit of dirt and grime on this thing just from wearing it, but the case finishing on this watch is excellent. Very, very high quality. The bezel on it. So the bezel, it shines and it sparkles like I haven't quite seen since the Chronos. So the bezel, I don't know if they do some of that trickery that Chronos did with the platinum palladium plating, but either way, it is excellent, very high quality. You can see just how crisp the bezel is there. Sorry about the dust, but yeah, very high quality, and I just love the way that it plays with the light. It looks really, really good. You know, some of these types of bezels, they just don't look as nice and as crisp as this. You know, Pagani Design, for instance, it's very soft there. So yeah, I mean, it just looked great. It looks great. They did an excellent job with it. You have a signed screw down crown here. Nice size on that too. Nice grip. We got no complaints with that either. Yeah, I mean, it's just all done to a very, very high standard. Flipping it over to the case back here, you have circular brushing on the bottom of the lugs there. Circular brushed screw down case back in that Rolex style. Not a huge fan of that, but it is what it is, and I've gotten used to it. I have the tools for it, but it's still just a pain in the butt sometimes. The bottom edges of the case here nicely rounded off as well, so it's just super, super comfortable, super light on wrist. It feels great. All right, let's talk about the crystal. First things first, we'll test for sapphire. It's positive for sapphire. The Cyclops is also sapphire. So we have a sapphire crystal with clear and reflective coating. We have a sapphire Cyclops also with clear and reflective coating. It looks fantastic. The Cyclops does magnify quite a bit. I'll say maybe just a little bit too much. It looks good though. It's nice and clear. And like I said, it has air coating on it, so it keeps the date nice and legible. The crystal itself, as always from Baltany, is excellent. Very nice. Really nice and clear air coating. Really nice clear crystal. It looks absolutely fantastic. And you can see here, it does sit just ever so slightly above the bezel there with a nice chamfer. So yeah, it just looks good. They did a good job on the crystal, as they always do. Baltany still has some of the best crystals in the game, in my opinion. All right, getting real close and talking about the dial, you can see here the dial is a very strong sunburst silver. It looks fantastic. I'm usually not a fan of silver dials, but this one changed my mind. This one I like, and I like it a lot, actually. You have the outer minute track printed in black there. Little plots of lume at the end of each of those hour markers there. You have applied indices at all the hour markers. They don't have a black line on them. Like right here, it kind of looks like they all have a black line. That's just a reflection, as you can see here. They're just simple stick indices, nicely polished though, nicely faceted, really thin, very vintage looking. You have your Baltany B there at the 12 o'clock index. Again, I think it looks really, really good. You do have a Baltany signed rehout there, so the rehout is the space between the dial and the crystal. And on this one, for an NH35, it's about as thin as you can get, so I think it looks pretty good. Really nicely done, nice high quality. The handset that they chose on this thing, just perfectly sized. Minute hand reaches right out to the minute track. Hour hand touches the inside of each of those hour indices. It looks fantastic. The second hand also looking really good, sweeping around there. I've got no real complaints with it. The date window here has a nice little frame around it. It's not an applied frame, just a chamfered window there, but it does look really good. I like the Baltany branding at the 12 o'clock position. I like the automatic 300, 100 meters. The fonts that they chose and all that. It all just looks really good. You can see here, it does have a faux patina on it. So it's not a white lume. It's a very light tan lume. I think it looks great. They chose a good color for it. It's not overly orange or anything like that. It looks fantastic. The handset that they chose is really good. Nice and thin and vintage looking, faceted as well, and nice and clean. So the lume on the watch, it's not great. There's not a whole lot of space for the lume, but it is there. I'm going to pop up a lume shot here. You can see it against a couple other watches in the collection. It does just get blown away, which is kind of what I expected. It's there. It's there and it's usable for a little while, but it definitely does not last all night long. So the lume, not great on this watch. So that's a little bit of a drawback, but I didn't really expect it to be good on this one. Yeah, so let's talk about the movement. So the movement inside is the Seiko NH35 automatic movement. So hand winding, hacking, bidirectional winding rotor, quick set date function, 21,600 beats per hour, so 6 ticks of the second hand every second, and about 40 hours of power reserve. They're accurate, they're reliable, and I've really not had any issues with them throughout the years. They're great movements, they're cheap, and they're easy to service or replace, and easy to find parts for. So just a perfect movement for this one. Here's how mine has been running. I cannot complain about that. Yeah, it's been running absolutely awesome. The movement itself is operated by this, again, 3 o'clock signed screw down crown. Nice size on it, nice grip, nice smooth screw in and screw out action. First position is your hand winding. Second position is your date change. Everything looks good in there. Like I said, it is a little bit big there, but you're not going to miss the date on this watch, that's for sure. Pull it out to the third position, that hacks your movement. This is where you set your time. Everything is aligned perfectly. So yeah, no issues with this at all. Screw in, screw out action is fine. Yeah, it's a good movement and a good crown. I've got no issues with it at all. All right, so time to talk about the bracelet. The bracelet is a 5-link bracelet, as you can see there, 20 millimeters, and it tapers down to 16 millimeters at the clasp. Brushed on the outer links there, polished on the middle links. Everything is done to a very high standard. You can see here the end links, they look great. They're female pivoting end links as well, so no issues with that. I think the end links themselves, they look really good. And they fit the case perfectly. They're in there nice and tight. There's no slop at all. High quality spring bars as well, which I like to see. Yeah, I mean, it's just a great Jubilee bracelet. One of the best ones that I've handled. And I've handled a lot of them. So yeah, this bottom edge here can usually be a little bit sharp, and this is just buttery smooth. Really smooth. The articulation is like, I mean, it just looks awesome. Doesn't pull hairs or anything like that. The tolerances are nice. It's not super rattly or anything. It's got a vintage appearance to it, but this definitely feels like a very modern and high quality bracelet. The clasp on it here, branded with the Baltany, brushed on the tops, brushed on the sides with a nice polished chamfer there. You got 4 levels of micro adjustment, 2 button pushers here. They're polished, nicely rounded off too. Everything functions as you would expect it to. Fully milled on the inside here, nice tight tolerances everywhere. So it opens and closes exactly like you want it to and expect it to. So yeah, the clasp on this thing, while it's not fancy and doesn't have any like on the fly adjustment or anything like that, I think it's a good size. It balances out the watch head nicely. It gives you plenty of micro adjust, so you're going to get a perfect fitment on this thing, and it functions just the way that it should. There's no sharp edges on it or anything like that. It's very comfortable. The whole setup, I forgot to mention, it is screw pins for sizing, as you can see there, and I believe I removed 3 links for my 7.5 inch wrist, so plenty long as well. Yeah, this bracelet, it feels super high quality, probably nicer than the San Martin 5-link bracelets that I've had. Not by much, but definitely this bottom edge helps a lot, and it is just a super comfortable and super solid feeling 5-link bracelet. Yeah, they did an excellent job. Very happy with the bracelet. So there you go, guys. That is the Baltany reference S4084. This was a very positive review, and that's because this is a excellent watch. I'm usually, like I said, not a fan of 36mm watches. I'm not a huge fan of Datejust watches, but I'm tempted to keep this one around. The bracelet is just fantastic. The case is excellent. The dial looks fantastic as well. I love the vintage vibes of it. Baltany as a brand, they keep improving, and that's what I like to see. Like I said, this bracelet is much nicer than some of the bracelets I've had from them in the past. So yeah, their bracelets have always been pretty good. This one is fantastic. So yeah, I think you guys are really going to like this watch. If you pick it up, you're not going to be disappointed. The price is a little bit high, but that's because the execution and the design of this watch and the branding, I think, is also very high. So you're still getting a lot of watch for your money. This thing is so much nicer than the equivalent Pagani Design. You know, those are $60. You can buy 4 of those for the price of this. So it's something you have to consider. But I think if you bump up to something like this, you're not going to be disappointed. It is an excellent watch. And yeah, I think you're really going to enjoy it. So I think that's it for me. Thanks a lot for watching, guys, and I'll see you in the next one. See ya.